Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back into the weekly Mind Cappuccino book club calls. If you're watching us on YouTube, please let us know in the comment box section from which part of the world you are tuning in with us today and how has been your day so far. And if you are connected with us on Zoom, welcome you back here. And if anybody is on YouTube right now, you want to join us in the Zoom, the link will be in our WhatsApp group. You can join us from there. And we're just going to wait for a couple more minutes, and then we're going to get started with our today's amazing and marvelous and absolutely fantastic topic, the immutable laws of success. So we are starting in just few minutes from now. In the meantime, if there is someone whom you think you wanted to invite, if there is someone whom you think can be helped by this lesson, I would encourage you that go ahead and share the link with them. Invite anybody that you want to invite. All right. Because these sessions are very important. We're going to talk about the laws. We're going to talk about why it is important for us to understand the laws and, how to actually apply them. So we're going to discuss in details everything about the laws today. And I'll encourage you that, just wait for a few more minutes, have a pen and a paper ready with you, because I'll suggest you to make a lot of notes, because I'm going to share information that can literally make a difference in your life. And if you have notes, you can really go back to those notes later on. Okay. So we are starting in just 1 minute, and I'll repeat it to you. If there is anybody you want to invite to be here in this call right now, it is your opportunity right now. You can share this link that I've shared with you on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram, wherever you would like to share it. Or if there's a friend you want to send them, send it to them. All right. So we are starting in 1 minute from now. In the meantime, feel free to share your experience you had being in the book club calls in the past few weeks, whatever you have learned by being in the book club calls. If you're on YouTube, especially, you can leave us a comment over there. This helps us and also the other people who are watching for the first time to know what impact the book club is creating in their life, what they are learning from the book club, and how it is actually making a difference in your life. Okay. So please do us a favor. Thank you so much. Just wait for 1 minute. All right, then, everybody, no further delays. Let's get started into the lesson for today, the immutable laws of success. When I started studying about the laws for the first time ever, it was way back in 2014 or 2015. So it's almost like 1 decade ago. I had no idea at that time what these laws are all about. Now, however, being an engineer student, I had certain sense of idea about the laws of physics, the laws of electronics, and all that stuff. But I never thought that there could be some laws of success for us to achieve the greatness and for us to achieve the results that we want to achieve. And when first time I started reading about these laws, I was really, really excited about it. And most importantly, this topic really was very fascinating for me, because being a student to the personal development philosophy, I was in a mode where I wanted to gather every information that I could gather at that time. And when I picked this book, Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell, and there's another book that on the law that I really like is the Kabbalion Hermetic Philosophy. These two books has really, really shaped my life for a better. Because These books not only give you the idea about the laws, but they shows you how to live a successful life. They shows you the ideology that you can follow. They shows you something that can literally make a big difference in your life. And once you start understanding the laws and once you start applying the laws, the life really begins to change. It's just like a newly born baby, and all of a sudden they discover that that they can walk, and they start using, they start speaking a little bit, and that start making a lot of sense to the small baby. Maybe they cannot consciously tell it to you, but I can tell you their subconscious mind really start getting excited about knowing themselves, because those things were already there within them. And then they start expressing it. They start learning to walk. They start learning to talk. They start learning to eat. And similarly, when we start learning the laws, things becomes very different. And I would really love you to write down this line on a piece of paper today, because if you let this idea to be impressed on your subconscious mind, your life can change. And it goes like this: what stands in the way becomes the way. That means every obstacle that you will ever experience in your life, you will have the opportunity. And I want you to see it like that. Because at the end of the day, it's about perception. It's about the perception that we hold towards life. It's about the ideas that we have in our mind. Some people may look at obstacles, and they look at obstacles as something that is there to stop them, while other people look at obstacles and they look at obstacles as something that is there to help them, to let them go beyond what they think was possible for them. And when you will be equipped with the knowledge of the laws, when you will be equipped with the ideas that there are certain laws that can help you, your understanding and your belief systems are going to change. Because at the end of the day, we all are looking forward to do one thing in our life, and that is we all are looking to improve our results. And your results, they are the results because you are applying the laws consciously or unconsciously. And your results never lie. Your results always tells you the truth. If you look at your results consciously and deliberately, you're going to find out that every single result that is happening in your life right now, it is happening because of the law. The universal laws that are around us, the laws that has not been made by man, but the laws that can be used by a man or of a man, and then they can change their life for betterment. But the first thing is that we need to understand what are those laws. Now, Raymond Holliwell talked about something very powerful in his book. He said, all the failures in our life are due to taking the side with the finite around us. That means when we start looking at everything that is happening in our life and we try to find out consciously and logically why this is happening, that is the cause of all failures. People will look at their businesses and they will say that my business is not growing because of the economy. People will look at their business and they will say that my business is not growing because it's off season. People will look at their business and they will say there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of saturation. And in that time, what they're doing is they are putting that focus on the finite around them. And in that case, the failure is an assurance. Some of you might be having difficult time finding, let's say, ideal jobs, and you might be thinking that market is saturated, whatever, the thought is in your mind. Or some of you might be trying to, let's say you're in a business, but you're not making good enough money, and you're thinking that you don't have the ideal products, or you're thinking like that you're not attracting the ideal customers, or whatever is in your mind. Understand that that's not the real reason. The real reason is because you're moving on a different frequency, you're moving on a different vibration. And then he said all success in life are due to taking the side with the law within us. That means when you start focusing on the law, that means when you put your belief and faith in the infinite power, in the divine intelligence, nobody can do harm to you. Nobody can change anything for you. If there is anyone or anything that can help you to become successful in your life,
It is the divine universe. And you're not going to build that belief and confidence in one day. It's a process, but you have to start from one day. And that one day can be today, or it can be no day for you. But that depends upon when you want to start it. So if you want to grow within your life, you have to really start understanding the laws. And most importantly, you have to start applying the laws. It's not just about knowing the laws, it's about applying the laws. Understand that there is a huge difference between what we know and what we do. And the reason why majority of people failed in their life is because they know things, but they don't do things. People start studying about personal development philosophy. They start understanding how powerful the affirmations are, or they start understanding why it is important to really keep a positive outlook towards life. But how many times they actually do it? Is it easy to do? Absolutely not. It is one of the most laborious and one of the most difficult tasks that you can ever perform in your life. And that is to control your thinking. That is to channelize your thinking. But you know what? At the same time, this is one of the most rewarding thing that you can do in your life. And the results they are compound over the years. At the beginning, you might feel like, oh, it's so tough. I cannot stay positive. I cannot do that. I cannot do this. But over the longer period of time, if you just hold on to the ideas that you know are worthy of your attention, the ideas that you know are worthy of your commitment, the results can be astonishing. The results can be outstanding. And you need to understand that there is a marvelous inner world within us, and that enables us to attain and achieve anything we desire within the bounds and the limits of the nature. But the thing is that how we can enable that marvelous inner world. What is that marvelous inner world that Raymond Holliwell is talking about here? That marvelous inner world is your own mind. That marvelous inner world is your synchronicity with the laws of the universe. Understand that once you become in tune with the laws outside and inside, once you match the frequency of those things begins to happen. Napoleon Hill wrote about it in his book, Think and Grow Rich. He said that when money begins to come, it comes so fast and furious that you keep wondering where it was hiding all those lean years. Andrew Carnegie elaborated on this, why this happened. He said that any idea that is emphasized is either feared or revered will clothe itself into the most appropriate form ever available. And he said, any idea that is emphasized. What does it mean by that is emphasized? That means it is impressed onto your subconscious mind. And we're talking about the marvelous inner world. And that marvelous inner world is your subconscious mind. And all you have to learn is how to impress that idea to your subconscious mind. And to impress that idea, there are a lot of bits and pieces of the puzzle. And you are never going to be perfect at those bits and pieces of the puzzle, but you're always going to get better. And the more you get better at understanding the laws, the more you get better at understanding your mind, the more you get better at applying the laws, the life is going to get better. Now, let's have a look at it, what, Warren von Braun has to say about the laws. And I can tell you that if you go and research about Warren von Braun, you are going to find out that he was a space scientist. That means what he is saying, he has some scientific evidence behind that. He said that, he quoted in the movie Secret, and he said that the universal laws are so profound that we have no difficulty building a spaceship. We can send people to the moon, and you can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. And he added, our problem is that we see it, we believe it, but the scientist has used it to go to the moon. And what we do? But we won't bring the laws into our life. We don't understand the thought energy. We don't understand that there are laws, and we don't understand that we have control over our thinking. As I told you, there are some of you who might already know what the laws are, because I know some of you have been following me from years. All right. Some of you have been studying this information from years. But the question is, do you have the firm grip over the laws? Now, you might say that I have it sometimes not. But the question here is that whenever you fall off track, how quickly you bounce back. I can tell you there is no one who is perfect on this planet, including me. No one is. There is going to be time when we are going to bounce off track. There are going to be times when you're going to feel demotivated. There are going to be a time where we are going to feel like really, really bad about ourselves. And in those moments, how quickly you bounce back defines your faith and your trust in the universal laws. And how quickly you bounce back is ultimately defines what you're going to get out of your life. You see what Warren von Braun said here? He said that our problem is that we see it, we believe it, but the scientist has used it. And if we see it, if we believe it, and if we start using it, the laws of the universe, things are going to get better. Now, let's have a look at here. Napoleon Hill, he's again very, very amazing author. If you have read his material, that's amazing. But if you haven't read his material, I'll advise you that go ahead and really, really, really study about Napoleon Hill. He said that in your search for the secret method, do not look for a miracle because you will not find it. Now, let's read it again. It's very deep. If their meaning here is deeper than you could ever imagine. He said that in your search for the secret of the method, do not look for a miracle because you will not find it. And then he continued by adding that you will find only the eternal laws of nature. That means some people may call miracles, but miracles are actually either the conscious or unconscious application of the laws within us and outside us. And then he added on by saying that these laws are available to every person who has the faith and the courage to use them. So the question I would love every single one of you to ask yourself today, do you have the faith and the courage to use the laws? Do you have the faith and the courage to use the laws for yourself? And if you show that courage today, I can bet you your life is going to get better. Your life is going to change from this point onwards. So do not look for a miracle. Instead, have the faith in the eternal laws of the nature. And once you develop that faith, things are going to get changed. And now we're going to talk about some of the laws of the universe. And if you still haven't had your diary and pen with you, I'll encourage you to get a diary and a pen right now. Because now we are going to dig deep into the laws. So far, I have built that, foundation for you about the laws. I've explained to you a little bit about what are the laws, why we need to understand the laws, what is the importance of the laws. We have bring certain points, but from this point onwards, we are getting into the deep stuff. It's like we're going to the deep end of the ocean, and then we're going to come out from the corner by the end of this session. We're going to start from the deep end of the pool, and then we'll slowly and steadily reach the surface, and we will get the level of the awareness that is required. Now, let us understand what is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. First of all, understand that everything in this world is energy. This microphone that I'm using right now, it's energy. I am energy. You are energy. The clothes you're wearing is energy. The clothes I am wearing is energy. The laptop I have in front of me is energy. The microphone, the camera, other devices on my table right now, they all are energy. Why they are called camera, microphone, computer, laptop? Because of the certain vibration they are on. But at the end of the day, everything is energy. Understand that the energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to another. And that's the reason when, the mic is called as a mic, because it's a different form of energy at a different level. The camera is called as a camera because of the vibration and the energy it is on. And in the same way, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy defines everything that we achieve in our life. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy defines how we get the results in our life. Now, what does the law of perpetual transmutation of energy say? He says that energy moves into physical form. Your results, before they actually get into the physical form, it's an energy. If you want money, it's an energy. You cannot have the money into your physical form until or unless you pay gratitude, until or unless you expect, until or unless you wish for money on an energy level. If on an energy level you really hate money, on an energy level you envy those people who have money, if on an energy level you are really, really, thinking about other people as someone being lucky who have money, your odds of attracting money are very slim. Money cannot talk, but it can hear. Such an interesting statement. Let me tell you the second line, which makes it more interesting. Money cannot talk, but it can hear. And if you call it, it will come. But you have to call it with the faith, with the belief, with an understanding of how to earning it. And the law of perpetual transportation energy teaches you everything. It says that the images you hold in your mind most often materialize in the results in your life. How does this happen? I'm going to explain it to you in just a few minutes from now. But I want you to understand that the images you hold in your mind, if you're holding an image of something negative, if, for example, if you're holding an image of, your business not growing, if you're holding an image of that you're struggling in your life, if you're holding an image of that you're always ill, if you're holding an image of why my business is not growing, if that's the image you're holding, that's the results you're going to get. But if you're holding an image that you're getting better and better every single day, if you're holding an image of that I am stronger and stronger every single day, if you're holding an image of that I am in control of myself, that's what's going to happen. Because that's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Now let's see how it works. So we are a spiritual being. Now on a spiritual level, there are thought forms, there are thought waves, and there are thoughts, and there are billions, zillions, whatever you can call it. There are endless number of thoughts there. And then you have an intellectual faculty. This is your mind. These are the faculties of your mind. And by using the intellectual faculties of your mind, you can combine thoughts. You can pick thoughts from the ether. And by combining those thoughts, you build an idea in your mind. And now that idea can be positive or it can be negative. Whatever is the nature of that idea that you're building in your mind, using your higher intellect faculty, is going to bring itself into the physical form as a form of results. Let's go through it again. Let's understand what we have just discussed. There is a spiritual world and you are a spirit. Okay. And you have an intellectual faculty. What are those intellectual faculties? They are your higher faculties: imagination, intuition, reason, will, memory, and perception. By using those faculties, you can tap into the universe, you can combine the thoughts, and you can build an idea. And you can build any idea that you want to build. Nobody has any power over you. You have your thinking ability. You have the ability to accept and reject any idea that you want. And then when you express these ideas to and through your physical body, that's how you get results. Now, if you go back to what I told you about Andrew Carnegie, he said, any idea that is emphasized, that means any idea that is held in the mind. How you build your ideas? You build your ideas using your intellectual faculties. How those ideas are built by using the faculties of your mind and collaborating the thoughts that are in ether or that are around you, within you. And that's how you get to the form, which is called the physical results. And that's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And you have to understand that we are a spiritual being and our spirit is 100% present everywhere, at all the places, at all the time. Your spirit, your physical body might be in your home right now, but your spiritual presence is in every single part of the world right now. Or if I have to put it in a better word for you, the results that you want in your life, they are on a certain frequency right now. And if you want to achieve those results, if you want to get those results, you have to tune into that frequency. You cannot get those results until or unless you don't tune into that frequency. If you are, for example, if you tune into a radio and you're tuning into an AM band, how can you expect to listen to songs that are vibrating on an FM band? If you want to listen to 98.3, you have to tune into 98.3. You cannot expect it to be on 108.3. It has to be on 98.3. If you want to speak to Jack, you have to call Jack's number. You cannot call Julie and expect Jack to be there until or unless Jack and Julie are boyfriend and girlfriend. So you see, it's about the frequency. And as I told you, everything around you is a frequency. It's a form of energy, but on a different level, it is called as different. For example, water. If you keep heating the water, it's no longer water. It becomes steam, but it's still the same energy. And if you keep heating the water, the steam disappears. And then it becomes ether or a gas. So you see, that's a practical demonstration in front of you, how energy changes from one form to another. And on every different vibration, on every different frequency, it is called with a different name. So your results, right now, your results might be not what you want, but understand that the results that you want, they're on a certain frequency. And if you keep expanding your awareness, if you keep expanding your knowledge, and if you keep building your belief and faiths over and over and over again by using the spaced repetition of these ideas, you're going to attract that frequency. You're going to attach to that frequency. And the moment you tune into that frequency, you're going to get the results. For some people, it's magic. And they just love to keep experiencing this magic again and again, again and again. You know why? Because they know that that's the best way to live the life, instead of putting your faith and belief in someone or somebody else around you. It's better to put your faith into the universe. It's better to put your faith and belief into the divine universe. Because that's your mind here, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your body. There is an energy that is flowing to and through you. Now we're going to look at this, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy on the diagram of the mind. As I explain this to every single one of you, I tell this to my clients every time, that if you want to grow in your life, you need to really, really understand this diagram. You really have to hold on to this diagram. You really have to get onto the idea that this is what you want. And then you have to have this image in front of your mind every single day. So you see, the energy is on a spiritual level. In your conscious mind, you have this intellectual faculties. You can build thoughts. Combining those thoughts, you can build ideas. And when you impress these thoughts onto your subconscious mind, they turn into the form of emotions. Understand what Napoleon Hill said about subconscious mind. He said, any idea that is mixed with emotions will be quickly and readily accepted by subconscious mind. Now, that emotions can be any, positive or negative, constructive or destructive, uplifting or downward in nature. Whatever emotions you mixed with your idea, those ideas are going to be accepted by the subconscious mind. And then it's going to alter the vibration of your body. It's going to change the physical action, and ultimately changes the results. And what we call it is, we said it is the perpetual transmutation of energy. That's one of the laws. And that's one of the fundamental laws, how everything happens. Now, the next law is law of relativity. Now, the law of relativity is very, very powerful. Now, this is the reason why some people really become big and successful. And this is the reason why some people really stay in the places where they are. The law of relativity simply states that nothing is big and nothing is small, nothing is good, nothing is bad, until or unless you relate it to something. Now, if you practice this law, relating your situation to something much worse, you will always feel good about yourself. Now, why I want you to do it? Let's practically look at it. Let's say this B and C represents two individuals, could be anyone. Let's say the B is earning $10,000 a month and C is earning $100,000 a month. And let's say there is someone who is A. The A is earning $50,000 a month. Now, if A looks at C, A is going to feel very demotivated. You know why? Because he's looking at someone who is superior than him. He's looking at someone who might be having a better life, might be earning better money based upon his awareness. And if he keep looking at it, and if he doesn't have the right understanding of the laws, if he doesn't know how the right way to do the comparison, he's going to feel very bad. But at the same time, if he looks at the B, who is earning lesser, who might not be having a better house like he is having, or might not be having other things like he's having, he's going to feel better. But the thing is that if you want to apply the law of relativity in a better way, you should always look at people who are below you, and then you feel grateful that you're doing great in life and you bless them. And if you're looking at someone who is greater than you feel inspired and encouraged. You still feel grateful and you bless them. And this is how you use the law of relativity in your favor. There are many people who you look at other businesses who might be in the same business, who might be in the same industry, and they're doing so greater than them. And then we look at them and they will see what the hell they're doing, why they're getting results, why they're successful. And by doing this mental talk, they're getting into the trap and they're using the law of relativity against them. Instead of that, you should be asking these questions, but you should not be asking them with the negative emotions at the subconscious level. You should be asking these questions with the positive emotions at the subconscious level, by understanding that if they can do it, I can do it too. If they are somewhere, I can be there too. You see the difference? It's very minor, but it's very important for you to understand that. That's the law of relativity. The next one is law of vibration. Now, everything vibrates, my dear friend. Everything. You know why you're able to hear my voice right now in your home? Because it is vibrating at a frequency. You know, there's a mic which is recording my voice, and then there is a software Zoom which is broadcasting my voice. And then you have the Zoom in your phone or laptop that's a receiving at your end, and you're receiving my voice. Then there's another transmitter, and then you through your speaker you're hearing my voice. You see, my voice has been vibrating at a certain frequency, and the law of vibration is bringing that towards you and me. And that's what happens in life. Law of vibration. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. You know, if there are somebody who says that my life is going fine, it's stable, it's things like that, okay, that's not true. Your life is always vibrating. If you're not moving in one direction by law, you're moving in the other direction by law, for sure. That means if you don't consciously and deliberately keep setting big goals, if you don't constantly and deliberately keep going after big and big things, you're going to fall back. And that's why it is important for you to keep stretching yourself. It is important for you to keep going after big goals. It is important for you to really, really, really get to the next level. Understand that conscious awareness of the vibration is called as feeling. Now, you know, when you're saying that I'm not feeling good, or when you're saying that I'm feeling really good, what you're telling is that you're vibrating on a very bad or good vibration at that time, or you're on a good frequency. You know, if you're excited, if you're energetic, if you're really loving your life, that means you're vibrating on a very high frequency. But at the same time, if you're saying that, oh, my life is mess, I don't know what to do, it's getting worse and worse, that means you're vibrating on a very low frequency. So whenever you find yourself not feeling good, you have to remind yourself, okay, I need to change my vibration. Changing your vibration is just like changing the a wallpaper on your phone. If you don't like a wallpaper, you don't keep it on your screen, or aren't you? So why you keep feelings on your heart when you don't like it? You know why? Because nobody told us that we can get rid of them. Nobody told us that we have the power. Nobody told us that as a human being, we are in control of our emotions. But if you understand the laws, you know you are. So when you're not feeling good, become aware of what you're thinking, and then think of something pleasant. Is it going to happen over time? No, it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take energy. And one of the next laws will teach you how to do that. But what I want you to understand from the law of vibration is that everything vibrates. Every single thing vibrates. And if you want to change yourself, you have to be vibrating on a different frequency. Now, law of polarity, we talk about law of vibration. Law of polarity is very simple. It says that everything has an opposite: hot and cold, up and down, good and bad. Everything has an opposite. And constantly looking for good in people and situation. When you find it, tell the person. People love compliments. People love positive ideas. So understand that if you like something about someone, tell them. Tell them that if somebody's dressed good, tell them, oh, you're looking good today. Remember that good ideas means good vibrations. And if you keep constantly looking for good in your life, if you keep constantly looking for what is going great in your life, what you're going to find out? Good. For example, if I tell you right now that look around in your house right now and find out everything that is black in color, you're going to find out everything that is black in color. And at that time, you are not going to pay attention to anything else, that what is the color of other things there. You see, there might be things with white in color. There might be things that are red in color. There might be things that are yellow in color. But as I give you the command, look out for anything and everything that is black in color, you're going to just find out everything that is black in color. If you command your mind to look for good in everything, that's what you're going to find out. You see, the law of polarity, it's there, it's always there. But what you look for is what you find, what you seek, what you get. So you have to build that habit. You have to build that habit consciously and deliberately, telling yourself every single day, over and over and over and over again, that, okay, I'm looking for something positive in my life. And then you have to affirm, then you have to repeat it over and over and over and over again. That's law of polarity, positive and negative. Everything is there. Law of rhythm. You know what I told you, that law of vibration? I will teach you how to apply it. And that is how you learn, when you learn the law of rhythm. Let's understand it for a minute. Now, law of rhythm states that the tide goes out, the night follows the day, good and bad times. When you are on a downswing, do not feel bad. Know the swing change and things will get better. There are good times coming. Think about them. So let's look at this diagram right here. Okay. Now, let this represents you're in a good time. And that's how it's going to happen. Your life is always going to be in a rhythm. Some days you will feel very excited. Some days you will feel very low. Some days you will be out of the mood, joyous, happiest. Other days you will be doom and gloom. But understand that in the moments when you do not feel good, in the moments when you feel bad, in the moments when you feel low, how quickly you turn around things, how quickly you change your mental ideas, how quickly you make the mental adjustment is going to define how quickly you will tune back into the frequency. You know what I told you about the law of vibration? And if you understand the vibration and rhythm together, you're really going to have a very solid understanding of what's happening in your life. You're going to have a very solid understanding of how to make things better. Understand that the law of rhythm is working. And you as a human being can bring back the momentum as quickly as you can. On some days, it might be very difficult. On some days, you might feel like, nah, don't want to do that. But understand that if you don't do it, who else will? You cannot hire somebody else to do your push-ups for you. It's you who has to do your push-ups for you. It's you who has to do your push-ups for you. It's you who has to really do the work for you. There are people who are going to help you. There are people who are going to support you. For example, this book club, every single week we bring here information that helps you, but it's you who has to be there. If you're not here, you are going to miss it. And if you're going to miss it, you're going to miss on the energy. You're going to miss on the vibration that you could have impacted you, that could have lifted you. So understand that the rhythm and vibration are very, very important. They are the keys. The law of cause and effect. That's a very powerful law. And Emerson said that it is laws of the laws, the law of cause and effect. And it's pretty simple. He said that whatever you send into the universe comes back. Action, reaction, equal and opposite. If you're saying something bad about something, it is going to come back. If you're criticizing, now there is a difference between critically criticizing something and criticizing something really because you hate it. When you critically criticize something, that means you're trying to analyze it and see what you can do. But when you're literally criticizing something, you're actually putting a very negative energy out there. For example, somebody can say that, oh, the economy is bad, it's messed up, my business is not growing. Okay, what are you putting out in that time? And what's going to come back? If you go and research, if you go and check the history books, you're going to find out that even in the most worst economical time, there were millionaires being made. There were billionaires being made. There were people who were happy and successful. There were people who were earning a lot of money. Why? Consciously or unconsciously, they never let the idea to enter their mind. Consciously or unconsciously, they stay tuned with the laws. And that's what you have to do. Say good things about everyone. Treat everyone with total respect, and it will come back. It will come back. I can tell you it will come back. It doesn't have to come back from the same person. Understand that, because people sometimes put expectations. You know, if they treat somebody good and they say, oh, why they doesn't treat me back? Might be you are in a sales call and you give everything that you could have given to that person, but that person didn't buy. That does not mean that you did bad. That means you just put that energy into the universe, and understand that sometimes, some people may not, like if we take it to the example of sales, you're doing your best. Your results doesn't have to come from the same person to whom you have given your best. Your results can come from anywhere else too. And as long as you hold on to this idea, you're going to keep getting better and better and better and better and better at selling, because then you're not consciously and deliberately focusing attention on selling, getting your output from that person. But you understand that all you have to do is give your best, because when you give your best, the universe is going to bring it back. That's cause and effect. Your efforts can go unnoticed by your manager and your boss, but your efforts can never be unnoticed by universe. I repeat that your efforts can go unnoticed by people around you. Your efforts can be unnoticed by, whoever is surrounding you, but your efforts can never, ever be unnoticed by the universe. Your efforts can never, ever be unnoticed by the God. And if you keep putting that effort, the reward that you will receive from the universe is going to be far greater and grander than anything else that you could ever imagine. But first of all, you have to put that effort, cause and effect, and never worry about what you're going to get. Just concentrate on what you can give. Giving, willingly give, graciously receive. The more you think about the value you can add, the more you think about, what you can bring on the table, wherever you are, not just in your workplace, everywhere, your home, your relationship, your friends, your family, your workplace. Think about what you can give. Think about giving. And as I said, your results doesn't have to come from same people. You are doing that cause because there is a divine infinite power who is watching you all the time. And you don't care about, and when I say you don't care about other people, I mean to say that you're not putting too much expectations on people around you, because they are not your source of supply. Your source of supply is universe. And your efforts are going to be rewarded every single time. They're going to be rewarded. Law of gender. Now, this is a law that many people have difficulty grasping, okay? I myself had a lot of difficulties grasping that law. I still might have it. But then one thing that I really understood is that you really have to understand, and you have to put your faith into the laws. Now, what is the law of gender? Now, the law of gender says that every seed has a gestation or incubation period. Ideas are spiritual seed and will move into form or physical results. In other words, your goal will manifest when the time is right. And no, they will. Now, there are some people, who sometimes get anxious because when they don't see results. There are some people who get very, very, nervous when they're not getting the results they have been constantly putting effort towards. When you plant a seed of a carrot, there are certain months that it takes for the carrot seeds to grow. And similarly for other seeds of the crops. But when you're planting a seed of your goal and your dream and your vision into your mind, understand that nobody can guess the time for you. Nobody can. But as your awareness, as your confidence, as your belief system increases, the time of gestation period becomes lesser and lesser. For example, when you have started your business, it could have been a big deal for you to even get your first client. And now you might be getting clients like easily. Or if you look at, when you go to the gym, sometimes it's very difficult for you to do 10 push-ups. But if you keep going there 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, and you will see that now the challenges are different. You might be doing 10 push-ups very easily. Now the challenge might be doing 30, 40, 60, 100, whatever it is. So you see, there is a law of gender. So that means as long as you hold the idea, as long as you hold the vision, as long as you hold the dream in your subconscious mind, You keep nourishing it. You keep fighting your battles. You keep getting rid of the weeds. You keep getting rid of any and every negative idea that is pondering in your mind. The only thing that is assured is the manifestation. But the effort should never stop. The effort should never, ever stop. And if the effort never stops, the results never stops. That's the law of gender. And then the last law that we're going to discuss today is the most important one, is the law of thinking. Earl Nightingale said that. He said, if most people would say what they have been thinking, they would be speechless. And Dr. Ken McFarland said that 2% of the people think, 3% of the people think they think, 95% of the people would rather die than think. Sometimes we think mental activity constitutes of thinking. It is not. Mental activity does not constitute of thinking. Thinking is when you're intellectually, emotionally involved in a certain idea. And you're not letting any opinion, you're not letting any idea on the outside, you're not letting anybody's, thoughts on that idea to influence you. And the common mistake that people make with the law of thinking is that they think from outside. And I'm going to elaborate that to you in just a minute from now. But understand what James Allen said. He said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. By heart, he means subconscious mind. By heart, he means the dominating thoughts of your mind. By heart, he means the ideas that you really, really get involved with. That means it doesn't matter what anybody else says about it. You're not going to let it go. You're not going to allow yourself to get off track. And you are holding on to it. You are really holding on to it. And you know what most people does? It is our mind and body and brain. And we have these sensory factors: see, smell, hear, taste, touch. And we have these results on the outer world. And what most people do is they use their sensory factors and they look at their results. They look at their results and they see how bad the economy is. They look at their results and they see how poor they are. They look at their results and they see how difficult the economy is to make money. They look at their results and they see how saturated the market is, any kind of those stuff. And you know what happens? They not just only look at these results, then they feed it back to their conscious mind. And if you're looking at the results that you do not want, and if you're feeding those results back to your conscious mind, what kind of ideas you're thinking it's going to generate? The feelings that will be generated by these kind of ideas, these kind of thoughts, are going to be negative. I mean, they're going to be really seriously negative. And these ideas are going to control the vibration of your body. And this is what's going to control the results. You spend time just randomly sitting in your home and just scrolling through social media, looking at whatever is happening. You know what's going to happen? You will not feel like working anything on that day. Or if you look at your bank account, if it is not good, and if you let those thoughts to be into your mind, you may not want to work anymore, because you might think, oh, what the hell? It's still the same. So what is the solution? This is where we have to learn how to change our actions by utilizing our thinking in the right way. Now, there is a right way of thinking. And in the right way of thinking, we do not pay attention to our sensory factors. Instead, we use our intellectual faculties. And by using our intellectual faculties, we tap into the divine universe. And by tapping into the divine universe, we think about the results we want. And then we impress those results back into the conscious mind. So what we are doing here is that we are looking at the results that we want. Instead of looking at the results we have, we are feeding those results back into our conscious mind. And when you're feeding those results back into your conscious mind, obviously you're thinking about the results you want. You're thinking about the better home. You're thinking about the better income. You're thinking about better future for your kids. You're thinking about better future for your wife, your family, anything and everything. And when you're thinking about the abundance and the prosperity that is expected, when you're thinking about what can be done, what kind of feelings you think you're going to generate? Obviously, you're going to generate great feelings. You're going to generate optimistic emotions. You are going to be uplifted. You see, this is what Andrew Carnegie said. He said, any idea that is held in the mind is emphasized. That means held in the conscious mind. Emphasized, that means impressed upon the subconscious mind. and then it changes the vibration, it changes the action, and it changes the results. And that what he means by when he said will clothe itself into the most appropriate form ever available. And if you use the law of thinking as instructed here, I can bet you your life is going to get easier. And if you keep using it month after month, year after year, year after year, decade after decade, you're going to see incredible results. And this is not something that I'm just saying to flatter you or just to motivate you. This is not motivation, this is education. And there is a difference between motivation and education. Motivation can push you for 1 day or 2 days. Education keeps you going. And when you reprogram your brain, when you reprogram your mind, things gets better, my dear friends. Things does get better. Look at that, what Einstein said about it. He said, everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is philosophy. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And these are the words coming from someone who has been absolutely expert in physics, Albert Einstein. And he said something very powerful along these lines. You know what he said? He said, match the frequency of the reality you want. That means you have to really use your thinking abilities. Think from your goal, not from your results. Thinking from your results is going to destroy your confidence. Thinking from your results is going to destroy your self-esteem. Looking from the results that you want instead of the results that you have is going to boost your self-esteem. The more you hold on to that idea, and when you're looking at your results, it can be very easy to get discouraged because you do not have those results, right? So you have to think from a point of perspective. Once you have that results, what's going to change? For example, once you have that amount of money, what's going to change in your life? Once you have that kind of relationship, what's going to change in your life? And when you do that, this is where the growth happens. This is where the change happens. And then understand that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. And we have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. If you want to win in your life, if you really want to win in your life, you have to use your gifts. You have to use your gifts. And your gift is your intuitive mind, your perception, your memory, your imagination, your reason, will, intuition. That is your gift. And in the end, understand that what Emerson said. He said that let him learn the prudence of a higher strain. Let him learn that everything in nature, even the dust and feather, goes by law, not by luck or chance. And if you think it's luck that determines what you get in your life, my dear friend, you have been fooling yourself. You know what is luck in my understanding? In my understanding is when you prepare yourself, when you use the laws, and when you keep using the laws again and again, again and again, again and again, you become so lucky that you keep attracting results again and again, again and again, again and again, again and again. And that's how things get better. That's how things improve. So use the laws, really get better at it. And if you want to learn more about the laws, if you want to learn more about how to practically apply these laws, I have an absolute beautiful program on the laws. It is a 1 year program where I'll personally mentor you through every single law, and we'll be studying that in very, very detail. We will be studying one law at a time. 12-month program is going to be absolutely fascinating. And if you want to learn more about it, you can message me. We can have a chat about it. I can share with you all the details about the program, and we can put you on the program. Understand that you have to apply the laws. You have to learn the laws. Because without knowing the laws, your understanding is going to be shallow. And if your understanding is your shallow, your results are going to be shallow too. So you have to be in this environment. And I'll encourage you, every single one of you, who has been attending the call today, you have been brilliant. You have been amazing. Taking time out of your busy schedule, being here shows that how willing and excited and interested you are already into this information. And I'll advise you now, take the one step ahead. Break the barriers, break the paradigms, whatever has been stopping you. I know some of you from a long time. And I know you have done great things. And this is the time right now to do even more greater things in your life. Okay. So later on, drop me a message if you want to know about the program of the laws, or even if you want to get into the paid subscription of the book club, because I have a paid subscription of the book club. And when you join the paid subscription of the book club, what happens is that I'll give you more material to study. I'll give you more information on how to apply these laws. I'll give you more ideas on what can be done in a better way. It's like a more detailed breakdown of whatever has been discussed in this Sunday calls, right? And that's going to be a game changer for you if you can just make that move. I know some of you may be ready for, for that move. Some of you may not be ready for that move, but I'll encourage you and advise you, speak to me, have that information, and then make your decision, whatever decision you want to make. The things can be interesting and exciting once you really get locked in with these ideas. Okay. And thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure seeing you here today. And I'm looking forward to see you next week. And we're going to have interesting information being shared with each other. I'll be really, really looking forward to bring some more information about the laws, and I'll keep you updated in our WhatsApp group. And I'll advise you, right? Invite your friends, your family next time whenever you're here. Let us grow together. Share this on social media. Let your social media know about what you have learned today, because I want people to really, really get this information. So thank you so much, everybody. It was a pleasure speaking to you today. And I'm looking forward to see you all on